Go ahead and resume. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here to my presentation. I have my wonderful co-host, Carla, helping me out here with the slides. So welcome so far. If we get anybody else that wants to join in, we'll just let him come in. So welcome. As you two know me, I am Fabiola, and I am really, really passionate about essential oils with pregnancy. Just a little background about myself. I am a mother of 2 boys. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I am a really busy mom. I work full time, and I take care of my kids, my wild and obnoxious little one, and my busy older son. I started essential oils 3 years ago. I started with a wonderful bottle of Balance and In Tune to help my son with his developing his speech, and the rest is history. So we are avid users of essential oils, more so now. Unfortunately, when I first started with essential oils, my son was already 3, so I didn't get to experience or firsthand what essential oils, the wonders of essential oils with my first pregnancy. And then with my second pregnancy, I wasn't very educated on them just yet, and I was just kind of trusting it and going with it. And I used a handful to get me, first off, to get me to start, to become pregnant. So I was a very avid user of Clary Calm on a regular basis on my pelvic area, and then on the inner area of my ankle, and just attempting to regulate ovulation, and in hopes to become pregnant. And then 8 years later came my now soon to be 2-year-old. So that's sort of a little background story of me, and in my experience with essential oils during pregnancy. So essential oils, and just like I was mentioning a minute ago, it is really hard to go in and trust, right? There's so much negative information out there when you pull up an essential oil to help with so-and-so, for example, nausea or anything. It's always negative, and I didn't understand why. And I think that's what kind of threw me off with my second pregnancy a little bit. Even though I was educated a bit, I was still kind of ignorant to the fact. So something that we have to keep in mind as moms is, one, doTERRA. We're using doTERRA. We're using CPTG essential oils. They've been tested for purity. They have no synthetics in them. They haven't been tampered with. So if you are using an essential oil such as that, it is a good, it is a go. It's a green light. It's good product to use. So feel confident in that sense. Another point that I wanted to share also was, when some of these studies were made, and some of the information that we see out there, where it's like, don't use Clary Sage or Clary Calm at any time until after 37 weeks, because it can cause a miscarriage. Now, when I read that, I was like, okay, so I'm going to wait till my 37th week, and I'm going to start using it then to get this baby going, because I knew that it was going to be, one, an induced labor. So I wanted to get things natural as possible. So a lot of these tests, going back to that, were done on mice, on animals, and then the animals were not responding well. It's a difference between an animal and a human. We don't have the exact amounts for we don't have the same organism, so it's hard to say, hey, like this animal or whatnot did bad with this oil, and so therefore we shouldn't use it. So in my experience, it is, one, super important for you to know that you're using a good essential oil, such as doTERRA's essential oils, certified therapeutic grade essential oils that have impeccable sourcing and standards, and that are harvested at peak. So we don't compromise anything. The testing is done, and it's there. So it's really important for us to be able to trust that, I think it's major. I wanted to also direct you all, if you're interested, there is a Essential Oils for Pregnancy and Birth book available out there by Stephanie Fritz. She is the essential oil midwife. She is amazing, has so much information, and works with doTERRA products specifically because it is the only company out there that is CPTG certified, and so therefore she trusts it and can present that to her patients. Okay, so let's see here. In things that should be really important when you are pregnant. One, you got to make sure you're using products that are CPTG, just like I was mentioning. Dilution is important because when we are pregnant, our skin is a lot more sensitive, right? So when we have to make sure that we use a carrier oil regardless of whether an oil is neat. Now, what does that mean? A neat oil, if you're not familiar with, is an oil that has been already diluted with the carrier oil, such as, if you guys are familiar with, I don't know if this is visible or not, but some of our 10 ml roller bottles like this say touch right at the top. Those are diluted and easy to use. Just, rule of thumb, still dilute, because our skin again is very sensitive, and you just want to make sure that we're not going to irritate our skin, right? Second is, you have to remember that you can use these oils internally, aromatically, topically, and neat, like I was mentioning. It is always, I think you should always lean on the safe side, and just trust your motherly instinct on how much you want to do, and if you want to do them internally or whatnot. So whatever makes you comfortable, mama, you do you, and we'll go with that. So let's go into the first trimester. Personally, for me, the first trimester was crazy, because we're always tired, right? I don't know if I've ever met anybody that's like not tired during that first trimester. Your body's growing, you're growing a baby, it's preparing itself. So I felt the most tired during my first trimester, and the nausea was horrible with both pregnancies. So we're going to go through some info on how to support you during the first trimester. Here we go. So one thing is super important, right? So often we get really into just the idea of like, oh, I'm craving ice cream, I'm craving burgers, I'm craving all this stuff that's, not necessarily super great for us. And it's okay, don't deprive yourself. Absolutely, treat yourself occasionally, but we have to remember that nourishment is super important for pregnancy, specifically in the first trimester. So let's remember to eat whole fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and whole grains, the whole deal, right? So that's super, super important. There is a thing with the first trimester where, we're very sensitive to scents and all that. I have been on several different classes with essential oils and pregnancy, and they always talk about, supplementing the body, because when we're not supplementing the body, a lot of that nausea comes from that. So it's quite interesting how all those go together. So make sure you're doing that. So we're going to jump in, now that we're talking about supplements, into our LLV. Okay, so here's the thing with LLV. If you're experiencing a lot of nausea, often women are like, I don't want to do all 4 of each. That's like way too much. I gag, etc., etc. Here's a couple tips, okay, that I've read, that I found. I didn't try these myself. I had no problem with taking them, but some women will open up those capsules and they will add them to their food or their smoothies. And I'm not sure how they do, the omega. That might be something that you would want to do, as just take it as is. But the other two you can open up and add them into your food if you have a problem ingesting them. Okay. It is very important for us to take our prenatals. Now, I have heard of women that are taking the LLV that were recommended that they add extra folic acid to that because it's a little low. So definitely talk to your midwife, your physician, your OBG, and find out like what he or she would recommend for you, because you obviously want to make sure you have enough. Sometimes some of us women need more. I know I needed more magnesium, and so I needed to up that. So just something to keep in mind. But in general, the LLV is a great foundation. You get your whole foods and nutritional vitamins, minerals, and all that. You get your essential fatty acids from the omegas that support the brain and the cardiovascular immunity as well. And then you get the CRS, of course, that's our healthy cells. We need that, super important. And so it's just a great trio to have and to give you that support that you need. So again, make sure that you go and present these items to your prenatal specialist, and just get informed as to like, are you taking enough, do you need more of the folic acid, etc. So there is that, fella. Other beneficial supplements. Here we go. This is one of my favorites, and I wish I would have known about trusting myself to take some of these items back then. Now that after giving birth to my second, I went all in, and I was like, where were these in my life? PB Assist, those are our wonderful I can't think because I'm spacing out here, probiotics. So it is really important to take your probiotics. You want to make sure you have a good foundation, good flora. Our Terrazyme enzymes are amazing. Okay, so especially when we're pregnant and we're craving like something super heavy, just an example. And it's really nice to be able to help us break those carbs down, those wheats down, the flours down. So it's really great. And it's a critical role in growth and healing in reproduction, immunity, and hormone support. So these are really wonderful supplements to have. Another one that's super great, I love it, even if you're not if you're not expecting, after you give birth, you're definitely going to need it. Our Mito 2 Max is our natural plant energy without the crash or the caffeine. Super wonderful. I take them as needed. I already know when I'm going to need one. If it's going to be a really busy day. It really supports my mood. Doesn't make you shaky. It doesn't make you jittery. It doesn't make you feel all out of whack. I know some people take it in the morning with the coffee. I tend to either have one or the other, just because I'm afraid of my own body and how it's going to react with the caffeine. But anyway, it's pretty amazing. Your brain fog goes away. You're really energetic, and I feel like that is super important, specifically in that first trimester, when we're just like, I felt like my first trimester, I probably fell asleep on my desk probably about a good dozen times, no joke. So those are some wonderful supplements. Here are some wonderful things for low energy. So the first trimester can be absolutely exhausting, as we all know. You're growing a human after all, right? These are oils that I love to diffuse to keep me going throughout the day. Now, some of these you can use them during pregnancy and then after, because we're busy moms. We always need that pick me up. So here's peppermint and wild orange are two really easy, and I feel like almost everyone has these around. They're so great to have, and they're very uplifting. You can also make roller bottles with these and have those available. Grapefruit, eucalyptus, and juniper berry are amazing. I find that Motivate is my go-to on any day, whether I'm pregnant or not, and spearmint together, those are incredible. So just a few ideas here. Sleep discomfort. Now let's talk about that. I felt like I had more sleep discomfort towards the end of my pregnancy, obviously, than at the beginning. But sleep is obviously super important, and getting rest is extremely important, especially when we're pregnant. Although that doesn't happen towards the end of it, but we have to really try. So here's a few different combos that we can diffuse. Remember that these combos you can also make into roller bottles if you wanted to just make your, let's say you're making a 10 milliliter roller bottle of, for example, cedarwood, lavender, and vetiver. I would personally just do 5, 5, and 5, just because, obviously we're pregnant, we don't know how they're going to react to the skin. So we want to make sure that we use a little bit less and more just to be safe. And then, start off with that, especially when you're using vetiver, because I feel like vetiver is one of those more potent essential oils. So just keep in mind. And then use it in a roller bottle and apply it to the bottom of your feet. Or if you like, you can also apply it to the palm of your hands and then inhale that and use it through before you go to sleep to set you off. But obviously diffusing is an amazing benefit because you get that running through the night, I should say. And so these are just wonderful ideas. So one of my personal favorites is that lavender, cedarwood, and serenity. It is incredible. It's a must try. So there are those wonderful ideas. Nausea. Now, morning sickness for some women can last all day, really. I know for me, it was pretty bad. I was a huge fan of Digestin. I would go through, must have gone through at least 4 bottles through my pregnancy. I would apply it to the bottom of my feet every night and every morning. And then I would, use it on the palms of my head and inhale that and then rub it over my tummy throughout the pregnancy. That was my go-to. Now, I wish I would have known of our ginger drops at the time. Ginger drops are amazing because you pop one in your mouth and it's very soothing, as well as our respiratory blend drops are also pretty amazing to just kind of calm. It's got that pepperminty and flavor in there, and so it's really nice to use those to just calm the nausea. And these also can be diffused, of course. So these are just really great ways of using them. Topically, you can obviously apply them diluted to the abdomen. And then internally, there's our Digest Zen tabs, which I'm not a huge fan of them. I love to take the vegetable capsule soft gels or Digestin soft gels. I find those easier to do because I'm not a big fan of fennel. And so that's just my personal thing. But if you like these would be your substitution to Tums, because Tums have just really bad ingredients in them, and we want to avoid things like that, especially when we're pregnant, right? So doing something like that is a great alternative. Heartburn, huge for me at least, right? I know that towards the, what was it, like getting closer to the 3rd trimester, I really felt that heartburn come through. So again, Digestin soft gels are amazing. Digestin tabs, if you are into those, please don't, reject them because I'm not a fan of them. That's, that's just my personal. Definitely give them a try if you're more of a Tums gal. And then also one really awesome tip, eat an apple. An apple before bed, it just seems to really work for that heartburn. As well as maybe a little almond milk and a drop of peppermint. That seems to be really effective for heartburn as well. So, there's different things that you can use if you're not too sure about, or if you don't have these Digestin or Digestin tabs on hand. So just a few ideas. Itchy skin. Here's a wonderful blend if you want to screenshot this. So our body butter is pretty amazing. Lavender, frankincense, tea tree oil, and geranium. You add 3 drops of each. You can make that into you can add that into your tub, or you can find yourself a little glass mason and add, a few scoops of the butter and then make your own, add a couple drops in there and then mix it and just set it in your bathroom, have it available to use, after a bath and just have it accessible, right? Because it's really important, at least for me. I had an almost, how heavy was this guy? He was a little over 8 pounds. My stomach was incredibly big, and so I felt like I really needed that moisture. So I definitely lathered myself with a lot of fractionated coconut oil and lots of lavender, And the reason why lavender, frankincense, and the other two oils are amazing for the skin, they're just really supportive of the skin. If I've ever had any cut or anything on my skin, it's either tea tree oil, frankincense, or lavender. A burn, lavender. You know, geranium is an oil that is new to me. I hadn't introduced it to my home. I've read wonderful things about it and I am in love. Remember, geranium is 15% off the entire month of May, so make sure you grab that. It is an amazing oil as well for skin. So make sure that you are that you can get that for, sounds like my little guy wants in. If you guys don't mind, I'm actually going to let him in, because if I don't, 1 second. You want to be in a video with me? Okay, we're gonna be in a video. Something about the second child, he just does not like to be away from mom. So I apologize for that. And so anyway, I was talking about geranium. So geranium, I've just started using it in my moisturizer. Do you want a yummy yummy? Okay, okay. Do you want a little drop? Do you want a drop? 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. The second child syndrome is real, you guys. Okay, so let's see here. If I'm ever going to get through geranium, I do apologize. Geranium is wonderful for the skin. I have seen so many improvements in my skin since I've been using it this month, and it's amazing. So I can only imagine how great it's going to be for our you want to go with Dada? Do you want? I'm going to give him some lavender here. You want to be my guinea pig for a moment here? Can you rub those together and inhale? We're giving him a little lavender. See how you do. All right, let me move on to the next slide. All right, so oils for mood. Again, I found myself, I don't know about you, but during that time, I was just like, there was days when things were really tough. Frankincense is amazing, but I love such as Elevation, Citrus Bliss, Balance, Serenity, very calming, Cheer, and Adaptive. I wish I had Adaptive when I was pregnant for my kids. It would have been so life-changing. Adaptive is our calming blend. It's a wonderful support oil. I used it after I had my children for postpartum, and that was super life-changing. A wonderful tip here. I don't know if you all are familiar with Immortelle. Immortelle is amazing for any skin related. Know that yes, Immortelle does come in a 10 ml, but with that, you can actually open it up and make at least, if I'm not mistaken, at least 3 more fraction or touch versions of that, because it is pure oils in there, and you can definitely make your own and make it go longer, because that is sometimes can be a little spendy oil. Of course, if you save your LRP points, you can always get that for free, but let's say you want to go all in and grab it, you can always make more than one out of that. So what I would do is I would take that open and I would add 10 drops or so to a roller bottle, and then fill it with fractionated coconut oil, and then roll it on my tummy. Of course, that roller bottle is a little small, so here's another tip. You can always take Immortelle and fractionated coconut oil and use it as body butter in a larger container if you wanted to do that, to make it easier for you. There's so many different ways. So just keep that in mind. Just wonderful, wonderful for the tummy and for stretch marks. So, all right. So let's talk about the stuff that we have a hard time talking about sometimes, right? The third trimester. The hardest part for me, right, was the third trimester, because I was so big, and then I just had like no sleep at this time. And I was like, now that I'm looking back at that moment, I'm like, where were my oils? Why didn't I know more, right? But such is life. But one of the wonderful things about essential oils is they're so versatile. For example, we have our deep blue rub that is really amazing for swollen feet, and so is Aroma Touch. Now, if you're not familiar with Aroma Touch, there is our massage blend. It is wonderful for when those feet get the size of hot tamales, and we are just, having a hard time with our poor little feet. You have your partner rub some of that on your feet, and it definitely will reduce the edema on those poor feeties. So, let's talk hemorrhoids. Um, Here is a wonderful recipe DIY for hemorrhoids. After each bowel movement, you'll want to spray this on the affected area. So peppermint, geranium, helichrysum, cypress. You take that and then you top it with fractionated coconut oil. It's amazing, very healing and great for hemorrhoids. Another wonderful thing for hemorrhoids is our and of course our wonderful Correct X. Correct X is super amazing for so many things. And if you're a mommy, you're gonna want to grab this and use it from the beginning of this time till the end, because you'll need it for when you're dealing with chapped nipples, or when your baby starts walking around and gets boo-boos, all of that. You are just going to be able to use it throughout. It's an amazing product. I do recommend, if you use Correct X, that you do also dilute it, because it can be a little harsh sometimes on the skin, because it's got some wonderful oils in there. And when you've got an open abrasion, you definitely will feel the warmth of that. So remember to dilute. Um, Here are some wonderful emotional blends. I don't know if that's blurry for you all, but it's blurry for me. So I hope you can read it. I'm going to read it off to you. Balance, Elevation, Serenity, and Citrus Bliss. All of those in a roller bottle, a 10 ml roller bottle, and you fill that with fractionated coconut oil. Have that with you in your purse, once you have the baby in your diaper bag, and have it accessible so you can, rub it on the palm of your hands when you're feeling a certain way. After the baby comes, we're going to deal with, that postpartum, have those oils available to help you get through those hard moments. And then the chill pill, 10 drops of Serenity and Balance. When we're just feeling overwhelmed, we've got the nursery to put together. We're not sure how it's going to look like when we finally have the baby. We're nervous about, going into labor, all of that. Just make sure you have your oils with you handy to help you, to give you that support, because we don't want to be stressed out during our pregnancy, right? We want to be able to use our emotional support blends, because it is, trust me, I'm telling you from experience, stressing through the pregnancy is so hard on the body. So make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you're using your blends to give you support during the pregnancy and after the pregnancy. Okay. Here is a wonderful blend that I love. It's Connect with Baby Blend. So we're going to use lavender, balance, frankincense. Also you make a 10 ml with fractionated coconut oil, and you roll it over your heart. Wonderful pulse point over your heart. If you prefer to diffuse while nursing, you can do 2 drops of each. And then in the beautiful Volo diffuser, or whatever diffuser you have, just set that guy up and, help you, give you that support that you need. Another wonderful blend here is Peace and Serenity. Sometimes I do Peace and Balance. Peace and Balance to me is very, very calming. It's great to diffuse, during that final nursing session, when I unfortunately was not able to do, because of just complications after birth. But nursing was one of my goals in life, and that didn't happen. But I know a lot of mamas do have such a hard time, especially when they've been tired and they're just like, they've been nursing all night. This is a wonderful blend to diffuse, to just kind of cool, calm, and collect. 'Cause I know it can be really frustrating for you mamas that are starting to nurse and all that. So keep in mind to use them throughout. They're not going to ruin or reduce your milk supply. So make sure that you're using them. Hairy pads. Everybody loves this, right? We like to talk about the not so happy side of our. Do we have somebody trying to come in? Oh, we have. I'm sorry. Let's see here. I'm sorry. I thought somebody was trying to come in, and I just ruined our slides here. Where was I? Let's see if I can go back. All right, Peri pads. So here is a wonderful recipe DIY for Peri pads. Go ahead and screenshot this, save it, and share it with the mama that might need it, or if you need it. This is witch hazel. I know they sell a better option of witch hazel than the one that Target or Walmart might have that doesn't have any chems in it and is organic. So search for that. The better the ingredients, the better, especially when we're talking about down there. Lavender, tea tree oil, and frankincense. Very, very, I'm gonna actually get a drink of water. My mouth is a little dry. Very soothing and calming to the skin, especially when we're healing, right? So we want to make sure that we squirt down with the natural cotton pads, and then line natural aloe vera gel down the center of the pad, and then freeze those. And then you use them as needed, okay? So, you know, we always have the most randomest things in the freezer and the fridge when we've delivered, because, you know, we as moms, we need the support. I know that there is a mom to mom, or not mom to mom, but God, I can't think of the brand that's out there that makes these products, but these are so easy to make. You know, find yourself an organic pad and make sure it's organic cotton, and, you know, make this yourself. We have all these products at home usually, and it's easy to, you know, to just have and make it accessible for us. Nipple rescue pads for you mamas out there. Myrrh, amazing, very calming, soothing, and wonderful for the tissue and restoring. Correct X again, like I was mentioning earlier. And then you want to use waterproof gauze pads. Okay, so after each feeding, you apply 1 drop of myrrh and a dot of Correct X. Notice how it's a dot to the nipple. Cover with the waterproof gauze, and then cover with nursing pads. This is a liquid gold for soreness, and it works so well. Okay, this is from a mama that has used this and loves this. So it's an amazing DIY. Also screenshot this, save it so you have it. Postpartum cramping. That, my friends, I absolutely loved Claricalm. Claricalm stays on my desk at all times because I use it. I use it religiously to attempt to get pregnant. That is my personal experience, to get ovulation going. I used it during the pregnancy. I used it at birth. I used it after birth. It is probably the most life-changing blend that you can have. Also, Claricalm is an oil that you can, it is a blend that you can actually make up to 3 of these from it. I've made at least 3 more roller bottles out of this guy, so it goes a long, long way. I remember when I was giving birth with my last, the whole room smelled of Claricalm, and it always takes me back to that happy place of just Claricalm, and it was just a wonderful experience. It was very helpful to get me through the contractions. You know, that and not frankincense, peppermint and lavender were super helpful for that. So just, you know, you must grab this guy and have it on hand. You know, and during the postpartum cramping, which we experience, especially when you're breastfeeding, you roll on Claricalm over the abdomen and mix it with frankincense, copaiba, and lavender, and then you top them with FCO, and then you layer over Claricalm. Okay, so this is called layering, right? When you take more than one oil or blend and you apply it to the same area. You can most definitely add more than one oil or blend to any area. So also that. Milk support is the following. Now, I know a lot of moms are like, I don't know. I'm a little afraid about essential oils. What if my baby ingests? Okay, so it's totally safe. Again, we have to go back to what product we're using. We're using doTERRA. doTERRA is CBTG certified, right? So they go and make sure that there's only pure essential oils. There's no crazy ingredients in there. If it's not pure, they reject it, and the rest is obvious, right? So geranium, fennel, basil, jasmine, and copaiba. So this is something that you'll put together, and you looks like you do a drop of each, and you roll jasmine touch in your hand. And if you do not have a bottle, you can add a few drops of fractionated coconut oil and massage that into your breast, moving upward, right? So, and then towards your armpits, morning and night as needed. So that should help you with milk supply. Of course, good nutrition, good water intake, and then no stress. Remember, you got to keep those low so that you can get your milk supply. This is a wonderful support, but you also have to remember to do the other things with it. So mental health, something that we don't talk about, and I like to call it the fourth trimester, because mental health seems to be one that gets forgotten often. And I actually was able to live this part and have essential oils be a huge support system for me to get me through some of the darkest times, which was after birth. You think of birth and you think of it being super beautiful because you just gave birth to a wonderful, beautiful baby that you've been anticipating for months, and then clash goes the postpartum depression, and that is probably like the hardest time for a woman. If you have never experienced this, that's amazing, but some of us have, and have gone through this, and it's really, really tough. So it's important to, one, be around your loved ones, be around the people that you love, have support, and use your blends. Adaptive is a wonderful calming blend. Balance is amazing. I used religiously copaiba and frankincense. Frankincense is also a wonderful support oil for mental health and anxiety. I would take copaiba and frankincense internally to support me through just that really hard patch of my life after giving birth. So make sure you all are taking care of this part of pregnancy. Don't ignore it, address it, and make sure you have someone to talk to give you that support. Moving into that as well, of course, goes into depression. Don't hesitate to reach out to your OB, your primary right away, or your support group, whoever that is. Elevation is an amazing blend. I always look at Elevation and I think of just, my happy oil. Motivate, Cheer, Melissa, wonderful blend of grapefruit, lemon, and spearmint, very uplifting. If you're more into that type of, I'm more into the citrusy but sweet, whatever works for you. Clary Calm, amazing for all of that. And on the abdomen, now I feel like Clary Calm you will not stop using throughout your entire life as long as we're females. Moving into menopause, one of the most used oils as well. So make sure you always have that on hand. Obviously make sure you're still taking your LLV, make sure you're still supporting your tummy, which is your second brain, with some PB assist, probiotics, and find things that make you happy. I wanted to move into touch bases a little bit on a few things that I just kind of came to mind. For when I gave birth, I often found myself leaning into frankincense for my baby. My brand new baby, to heal his umbilical cord, frankincense was a go-to. It was always there, and it's super easy to use, and it's a very easy to use oil and very powerful. So make sure you have your frankincense on hand to give you that support for yourself and for your baby, because it's always really great to have it for skin, or for mood or any of that. So just the thought there. Other than that, that is my presentation for you all. I'm sorry about about the baby. He's just a mommy's boy, and he just loves to be right next to me. He's playing with his little cars right behind me. If you all have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. Let's pause sharing here. And if you guys want to unmute yourselves and ask any questions, I am here for you. And if you don't, I really thank you for coming. Thank you so much for joining. And if you need to find me at all or have any questions or anything didn't make sense, you can find me on Instagram at fabulously_oiled_. And I'm glad to answer any questions. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing this. And I wish you all a wonderful night. Thank you again for coming. We will see you all soon.